Morning Queenslanders, welcome to an OCC Queensland Daily Weather Up today, the 9th of Feb 2023. My name's Chris Nitzo. This update brought to you by our major sponsor townsvillesheds.com. Check them out if you're in the market for a shed, safe accredited shed. Alright, so here we go. We've got a tropical cyclone, Gabrielle. She's up to a category 2. You can see she's moving south-southeast from this point on. She's done and dusted in terms of how close she's going to get to Queensland. She's about as close as she'll ever get right now. The idea is the system is tracking south-southeast and is expected to intensify over the next 24 to 36 hours before weakening on approach to Norfolk Island. Fingers crossed that forecast holds and the system is going to be weakening on approach. And I think most of the computer model guidance is on board with that at this stage of that weakening, particularly in the last 6 to 12 hours of approach into Norfolk, down to about a Category 2 and particularly on the lower end of a Category 2 by the time it impacts Norfolk. So, as I say, fingers crossed, that continues. It's the best of a bad situation anyway. The idea here across inland Queensland is some light patchy rain associated with the upper level trough. The upper level trough is the thing that's grabbing the cyclone and pushing it southeast and making sure that Queensland does not cop the brunt of this. We're going to see some showers on the eastern seaboard. We're seeing some of those in southeast Queensland and central east Queensland this morning. We're going to see quite a few showers and thunderstorms across northern Queensland through the day, and the monsoon will be reinvigorated come tomorrow across the Northern Cape and into the top end. Just because a cyclone's not going to hit the coast doesn't mean we're not feeling some impact from it indirectly. Indirectly, there's a pressure gradient squeezing force between the cyclone centre and a high-pressure system to the southwest of us, and the expectation is because of that squeezing force, we're getting gusts up around 35 to 40 knots on parts of the exposed coast and through the islands this morning into this afternoon. Those winds may actually increase as the cyclone intensifies, and the lowering of the pressure inside the cyclone will increase the pressure gradient squeezing force. Once again, we're not coming under the direct influence of the cyclone circulation, but indirectly that pressure gradient squeezing force resulting in quite a bit of wind on the central eastern coastline. You will notice as the afternoon progresses too, keep an eye on your time frame down here, you will notice that there is a spreading southwards of those stronger winds, and you can see wind gusts up around 40 to 45 knots now as we progress into this evening, so really peaking into the afternoon and evening hours, and then suddenly at night time they're going to start to drop off, and you're going to notice it first in the northern parts around the Blow and Bowen with Sundays area, and then eventually tomorrow morning you'll start to notice the decrease in winds across the southern parts of central Queensland and the northern parts of southeast Queensland. Winds just sticking around tomorrow for the northern southeast Queensland coastline. You can see around the Sunny Coast, Fraser Coast area, still a fair bit of wind coming in from the south-southeast, but for the rest of us, winds are decreasing, and for those of us who are paying attention, you'll notice winds are increasing up here associated with the monsoon flow as a weak circulation starts to form around the top end and invigorates the monsoonal flow here, and we're going to start to see some fairly strong winds impacting the Northern Cape and the Torres Strait. Unlike the winds down here, these winds are also going to be carrying quite a bit of rain with them. Looking at the forecast for convective rainfall today, we can see widespread showers and thunderstorms are expected across far north Queensland, parts of the Gulf country, through the Cape York Peninsula region as well. There may be some isolated shower activity around the Townsville to Mackay coastline, and you will notice this light patchy rain, maybe even an isolated convective cell across the inland parts of Queensland with in association with the upper level trough. As we progress into the overnight period, chance of some heavy showers developing near the coastline of far north Queensland and North Queensland. Outside of that, the expectation of perhaps some more convection just sort of continuing across the northern interior. Just out of curiosity, let's have a look at some of those rainfall totals across northern inland Queensland, because they were a big target yesterday. They were a big target of heavy falls, potentially in excess of 100 millimetres. Oh yeah, there we go. Rose Glen 93, 96 at Georgetown, so that's pretty impressive stuff. Green Hills 77, so that northern interior definitely lived up to expectations with regards to heavy rain. Once again, of course, as we always say, it was always going to be quite patchy, but certainly some heavy falls nonetheless. Also, of note are the big falls out in Western Queensland. We can see Urandangi there, 62 mils, and what's that, McKinley? Yeah, I think it's McKinley. Yep, 67 mils out there. So some big falls out west as well. But that for Western Queensland, that's the end of the big falls now for some time. All the bigger falls are going to be up in the Gulf country and far northern inland and Cape areas. Going back to our convective rainfall overnight, early in the morning, as I mentioned, some heavy showers around the northeast Queensland coastline. The possibility of heavy continuation of showers and storms as they decay through the overnight, early morning period. Maybe some early morning convective activity right around the Gulf, and you can see the Cape York Peninsula region starting to really fire up with convective rainfall from early tomorrow morning and continuing on into tomorrow. Looking quickly at tomorrow, you can see widespread showers and thunderstorms contracting further northwards now, more up around far north Queensland's interior and the Cape region. Expected rainfall between now and when we talk tomorrow. You can see significant rainfalls up here in far north Queensland, particularly in the inland areas. Don't forget some heavy showers potentially overnight tonight across that northeast Queensland coast as well. And remembering just pre-monsoonal activity today across the northern Cape, and then monsoonal activity developing tomorrow across that northern Cape. That's where we are at the moment, folks. As always, if you want to know more, head over to join.ozcyclonechasers.com.au. Check out our subscription options. We go into way more depth and detail in there about the storms, the rain and future lows, of which one will start tomorrow. Find out more about that in our subscription service. Head over to join.ozcyclonechasers.com.au. Thanks for watching. Talk tomorrow.